Welcome to Slice of Lime, a podcast by and for Lime Warriors, where we share truth, resilience, and hope, one episode at a time. We are not doctors, and this is not medical advice, just real stories and what's worked for us on our own journeys.
This episode is brought to you by Microbalance Health Products. Their liver health and detox bundle have been a great support in my mold recovery. It includes 3 supplements: L-glutathione, NAC, and Micro Detox Liver Support that help my body's natural detoxification processes run smoothly and support my liver to process toxins more efficiently. I've noticed a real difference in my energy and resilience since adding this bundle of supplements to my routine. You can find the Liver Health and Detox Bundle, along with many of our other favorite mold products, at microbalancehealthproducts.com/SOL and use code SOL at checkout for 10% off. Hi, and welcome back to Slice of Lime. We are still part of our mold series here. I am your co-host, Kristen, and I'm joined here with Callie, and we have an amazing guest today, Brittney Nicole. And the way we had met Brittney is through TikTok. She had become kind of an overnight sensation where she started talking about her experience with mold and her new build and kind of exposed just, what could happen when you live in a new build that is filled with toxic mold and just like kind of the scary story behind it. And so we're so excited to have Brittney here to kind of talk about it and walk our listeners through what happened and what they should be looking out for and just the overall experience, because it is quite daunting when you think of what happened to you, Brittney. So if you want to kind of just tell us, the last couple of years have been, I feel like, a lot for you. So kind of just walking us through what happened.
So I purchased a new build, and I just thought new builds were brand new. There shouldn't be any issues with a new build, My family and I moved into the home, and probably within a month I started getting really sick. And I think everybody thought I was crazy because I kept saying, I smell something. It was just like this weird odor. I can't even pinpoint what it was. It's been so long now. But it was just
a musky smell.
It's like very earthy. Not necessarily musky, because like that, yeah. So it was like more earthy, maybe slightly dirty smell. Anyways, it was really just potent in my master bedroom. I didn't really smell it anywhere else in the house. And excuse me. I would go to sleep at night and I would wake up gasping for air in my sleep.
Wow.
Which was really scary. It got to be so bad that I would play musical beds all night, trying to find somewhere I could sleep, where I could breathe. But then I was finding out that I couldn't breathe anywhere in the house. And I have had past mold exposure from like 15 years ago. This is like a part of my story I don't really talk about a lot on the internet. But I was bedridden 15 years ago. I was in and out of the hospital. I was down to 100 pounds because I was exposed to mold, and Western medicine completely failed me. I thought I was going to die. So it was like the weirdest thing to move into this house, because I never fully got answers then back at that point in my life. And I got put on disability for anxiety because I was so sick, but they just didn't know what to tell me. So when I moved into this house, it was like a very eye-opening experience, because all those same symptoms I was experiencing at that point in my life when I was bedridden, so sick, all of a sudden, all those symptoms came back to me in the house, the new build. And that's when I started obsessing over it, like, okay, this is weird. All the same things are happening to me at that point in my life when I thought I was dying. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. And so the smells, again, I can smell things other people can't smell. I'm just very sensitive to smells. And I just trusted my gut, and I kept telling the builders, I'm like, there's something wrong here. There's something wrong here. And they sent in like 4 different people, and they were all just such a joke. And I kind of knew a little bit about mold because I never gave up on my old journey, and I kept chasing like answers, like what happened. So I learned a lot about mold from that. And so when I was talking to these mold inspectors, I just knew the things they were saying weren't right. It just seemed very outdated, like information. And so I just kept, like, I never gave up. Like, I'm proud of myself for that because I just kept being gaslit so many times. And I was like, no, I feel like there's something wrong. I'm trusting my gut. And so I hired Texas mold inspectors. They're like the most amazing people ever. I feel like they saved my life, honestly. So they came in, and Josh is the owner. He came in and he found 2 million spore counts in my bedroom. And there was also mold throughout the whole house.
Wow.
Well, so so in your bedroom, did he do an air test? Like what kind of test did he do to find that high of a spore count?
So something I learned through the whole process is that I would never in my entire life again trust any mold inspector that just does an air sample in the room. What I've learned is that mold grows mostly behind the walls. That's where it starts. And you're not going to get an accurate reading if you're testing for mold in the middle of a room. It needs to be behind the walls. Houses breathe, outlets breathe. So if there is mold behind the walls, it's coming through any crack, plug, outlet you can imagine. Did I answer your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so basically he has a machine that kind of tests the humidity behind the walls.
Well, no, he drilled holes into my walls,
Oh,
all
wow.
over my house, and he plugged in, like, I have pictures of it. I should probably post about it because I feel like I don't talk enough about that on my socials, about how, like, to be on the lookout, because I get so many people every day that message me, and it breaks my heart, the stories I hear. And, like, for instance, this one lady, she said her husband just thought she was acting crazy because she just had a baby. And she literally went to a hotel with the kids, and she was messaging me, what do I do next? And I'm like, okay, this is heavy. I don't know. Like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, and, but it sucks because I'm like, well, who tested your house? How did they do it? It could be wrong. Like, I was told I had no mold in my house multiple times.
Yeah.
I will never trust a builder again because I saw how shady they are. They literally hire people to work for them to cover up their mistakes.
Yes.
So after that, this is where my story gets really crazy because I just don't feel like my videos explain it enough. But after my mold inspector found the mold, well, it was just really funny because my builder was very quick to respond. After I cried, yeah, I cried so many times calling them. Like, they even flew, like, the CEO in to come look at my house. And he said, this doesn't even look that bad. And I'm like, what? It's just crazy how they just don't care. And so they were quick to call me and apologize. And then they sent out their mold inspector again to compare results. I just found it really weird that then their mold inspector found mold after mine found
Oh,
mold.
after yours did, then they did. And did they find the equivalent? Did they all of a sudden now find the equivalent amount of mold, or they found something different? Like
It
it was
was
still
different, and the type of testing they did was different, so it read different, but they still didn't test behind the walls. They just test in the room. Like, they are not allowed to test behind the walls when they're working for builders.
Interesting.
Is
So
that like a legal thing? Is that is there something
I think because
behind
they'll
that?
all have mold. I think they'll just
Oh,
show mold, right?
got it. Okay.
So
Yeah. So they want the results to say negative. So the builders are telling them not to test behind the wall.
yes,
That's
exactly.
interesting.
So I moved out of my house immediately. I got rid of everything. I was like, I don't want this. I'm traumatized. So they put us in an Airbnb for 1 month, and they remediated it. I watched what they did, and it was a joke. I was in such a how do you say? I was so shocked when I heard I had 2 million. We're not talking 60,000. We're talking 2 million.
Right.
Spore count. I like broke down, like hysterically crying, and it's like almost triggering talking about this. I did not hear my mold inspector tell me that my house wasn't even up to code and that there was no vapor barrier wraps in my wall. I missed that part because I was just such a mess. I was fighting for my life. And to hear that after being told I was crazy, basically, just like, it broke me apart. And so we moved into the Airbnb while they remediated it, and that didn't touch anything. It didn't do anything. They put some paint on some wood. That's all they did when they cut open the walls.
That's
And
terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
yeah. And so when I moved back into my house, I immediately smelled the odor in the entire house. Like, it was already in the house, the odor,
Oh, yeah.
because it was getting worse every day as the days were going by because my house was condensating. So
Yeah.
it like started bothering me in the master, but then the odors became very dominant in the other areas too. And so, long story short, I knew I wasn't going to make it there once we moved back in, but I was trapped. I had no options. I have a very expensive mortgage, and I don't work. I'm too sick to even do anything at this time, right? So I don't know. We survived in that house for 2.5 years. It was the worst experience of my entire life. I almost got divorced like 100 times. I felt like every day I prayed. I was on my knees begging God to save me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty traumatic because it affects your mental health, it affects your physical health, it affects like every aspect. And so it's devastating to have to go through. So sorry, you have to,
Thank you.
Talk about it and relive it. I just have a question for you, Brittany. So I know I've watched all of your videos, and you would post the humidity in your home, for example, and you're like, it's at 75% humidity, right? And you're like, look at the walls sweating and all that. Is that like your HVAC was also completely?
Yeah. So when I moved back into my house, it repeats. I'm calling the builder. Something's not right here. It smells terrible. Please come back and look at my house. Like, I am so sick. My kids are sick. We were sick every 2 weeks with something new. It was insane. If you can only imagine having COVID like almost every day of your life, that's what it felt like.
Wow.
Times that by 10. So I called them. I'm like, don't send the same mold inspector you sent, okay? Because I don't want to deal with that guy. I got in a fight with him. He told me the molds in my house weren't toxic. And that's how I was like, this guy's a joke. He's telling me that Aspergillus, penicillium, and cladosporium is not toxic, and I'm fine. So they sent in a new guy, which I do think that this guy tried to help me the best he could, but he said my AC, something was really wrong with it, and turns out the AC was oversized for the entire house, and the ductwork, the AC guy, when he came in to look at it, he said it was the worst installation job he'd ever seen. There was like exposed holes through the ductwork that was separating everywhere. So I was like essentially cooling the attic, but not my house. And my attic had mold, so I was pulling in air from the attic into my house. Just a list of problems. But the inspector, I said, could you live here smelling the smells? Can you smell it? And he's like, he had to like choose carefully what he said to me. And he was like, I could not live here comfortably. And I was like, can you please tell my builder that you smell the mold here, please? And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't tell them anything out of what he could do, which I found very interesting. As much as he tried to help me, we slapped him with a lawsuit and all the people my builder hired. And he asked my attorney to please drop the charges because he couldn't do anything outside of what he was allowed to do.
Wow.
Meaning he was only able to do so much.
Because he's being paid.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That makes sense.
It makes sense.
Did y'all sue the builder?
So, we've been in lawsuit for 1.5 years now. And I was in my house while in lawsuit because, I mean, it's not easy to navigate. Like, my mortgage is $3,500 a month. I'm literally being drained of money going through this. I've lost all my stuff. I had to start over when I moved back into the house. I started over. I thought the mold was gone. So like it's taken everything from us. And yeah, so we're suing every mold inspector that they sent in. We're suing Serve Pro. We're suing my builder. And after going through this, I looked them up online and they have like 1-star reviews. And I've had many people from my builder reach out, but not just my builder. I mean, it's a lot of builders are doing this. It's an epidemic. It's crazy.
Well, so Brittany, I feel like, I mean, you got out, right? And I feel like you are now an advocate to kind of educate people on what new builds can do. I mean, homes in general, you're also in real estate now, which is amazing in general that you're able to get out and now you can help educate and advocate for people and even help them, when you walk into a home to say like, actually, this is not, we don't want this home. I smell it, or whatever. Are there tips that you would give to people if they're getting into a new build and or if you're looking for a home in general with them that you're like, we need to check these 5 things or something that we know you'll be safe from mold? Like are there tips that you now instinctively think of or you'd give tips looking back?
Would I tell anybody that's going to buy a new build, research your builder. Watch the entire process of the house being built because you might see or be able to catch things like some of these houses over here behind my new house. They were building and it was raining and they kept building. Stuff like that. I would have backed out of the house if I had seen that. What else could I say? I mean, there's so much to it. It's honestly overwhelming. Like, I think I made a video about how some of these houses are being built with cardboard versus Zipline, the green board. That's more waterproof. So like that's another thing to take into factor. Something else that was wrong with my house with mold was that it was all brick and they built it too airtight. So my house wasn't breathing. It was just condensating and like sweating in the walls.
That's wild.
Yeah. I've had people with all kinds of stories reach out to me. I've had people with foundation issues where the slab was constantly wet and like moisture was trapped under the floors and the house was molding. I've heard like spray foam insulation molding. Like there's just so many things that could make this happen, but I feel like the number one thing I really hear is it's the HVAC being installed wrong. I always tell people like make sure you hire somebody to check it on your end. That could if it's in the HVAC, it's in the entire house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's just blowing mold throughout the whole house.
And I feel like it's very indicative because your whole family got sick. Like it wasn't just, everybody, right? You, your husband, your kids, like everybody became incredibly sick as soon as you got in there.
I was the first to get sick. And then my kids started getting sick, and towards like the end, my husband started getting sick. But he he just thought it was him getting old age. And I was like, no. But he had mold rage, and so did I. It was, and my kids, it was so crazy. Like, we were all at each other's throats, fighting and irritable, and just felt so terrible.
So are y'all all feeling better now, being out of the house?
Yes, 100%. I will say we've had some allergies since we moved, but we're in Texas and there's allergies. It's allergy season.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So did y'all have to do any detox protocols, or did y'all do anything to try to get the mold out of your system after y'all moved?
So right now I'm on a detox protocol, and things have been very hectic since we moved, so I have not been able to fully detox everybody in my house, and I feel like I'm just gonna focus on me first, and then my kids and my husband. It's a lot for everybody to be detoxing together.
That's fair. Are you doing anything specific? Like, for example, so I'm trying to detox from mold as well. I mean, we all are experiencing mold too, but like, so I do like the glutathione, the Microbalance Health glutathione. And I do a binder, like an activated charcoal, the GI detox binder. And I mean, I take other things. I think I saw you take lauricidin as well. That's just good for viruses. But is there any specific, do you do specific binders that you like, activated charcoal or bentonite clay, or did you do a sorry, this might be a twofold, but did you also do a mycotoxin urine test or blood test to figure out what's actually in your body to then decide what you're going to take for detox?
So we've all done the mycotoxin urine test, and we all showed positive for the same molds in our body in my house.
Oh wow.
I was working with Dr. Jabin. He's very popular on Instagram.
Okay.
But I just started working with the detox doc.
Nice.
We
Yeah.
had her on the
Interviewed
podcast.
her.
We did. She's great.
Nice. Yeah,
And
she's
then
super sweet.
one of our team members is seeing her too. She loves her.
Yeah.
I like her a lot. She's really sweet. So, she's helping me kind of, because I'm in a financial crunch. She's helping me with the supplements I already have, because if y'all are like me, I have a entire like cabinet full of supplements.
Yep.
So I'm actually currently doing Miss Roger Hood's Parify Detox right now.
Nice.
I'm adding in aloe vera. I can't remember the other name of a pill she has me on. I do super potent glutathione, vitamin C. Oh gosh, I can't remember the other ones right now, but some of them are just like for brain support, because I have a lot of neurological stuff going on.
Yeah, we definitely understand the neurological effects for sure.
For
Yes.
sure.
And I'm trying to focus on my diet too, which is really hard when you're on the go, but and I'm doing a little bit of carboxy from Cellcore.
Oh, carboxy.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that makes.
But I alternate my binders. I love my binders. Like, I do the GI detox. I love botanicals. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
The
I've heard of
brand.
Yeah.
them. Yeah. So I'm currently still living in mold, and so I can't do much right now other than like high vitamin C and like herbs
Mhm.
and stuff. But
Yeah.
once I move out of the mold situation, I'm gonna be joining the detox train.
Honestly, when I lived in mold, I did Miss Rogers Hood parasite detox, and that was the only thing that helped me to like not feel like I was absolutely dying. Yeah. Uh, and the binders. I lived on binders every day. I don't know if that was good for me, but my mold doctors then were telling me to just keep doing carboxy every day, to help just kind of like flushing it out and remineralizing.
And do you feel like since you're out of mold, you're now doing this protocol. I don't know how many symptoms you had total when you were living in mold, but do you feel like you've seen an adjustment? Like, so you went from 25 symptoms to 5 symptoms. Like, are you seeing this improvement over time? And like, do you
For
feel like,
sure.
yeah, like a light's at the
Yeah.
end of the tunnel?
So, it is really frustrating, especially people who don't understand mold. Like people near me, they're like, "Oh, you moved, you're better." I mean, I look fine. And I'm like, "Well, it doesn't work necessarily like that. I'm not going to be magically healed within 2 months, you know."
Right.
So I feel like if you've been through it, you'll know, right, that it's not going to be instant. It takes time to heal. However, yes, I am not dying every day. I haven't even been to the hospital since I left that house.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
that is amazing.
yeah, my kids are not having bloody noses, coughing constantly. Like they were chronically coughing. Um, Chronic strep, none of that. And we've been out almost 3 months now, I think.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
3 months.
amazing.
And so nobody's had any issues like any of that stuff. Um, Everybody seems happier. Even my
Good.
husband's not like the rage, moody. Well, it's not funny. My mom's electricity had her AC went out when we moved out of the mold house. So she wanted to stay at my house with mold. And I had left a bed in there because we were still moving and I wasn't going to keep the bed. Um, and I was like, there's mold in here. I just don't think she really understood. And she was like, it's fine. I just need somewhere to stay a couple nights until the AC guy can get out to fix my AC. And I was like, if that's what you want to do. She has dogs and she didn't want to mix my dogs with hers. So she didn't want to stay in my new house. But long story short, she was like, I'm itching really bad. What is going on? Like she was
Oh
breaking
my
out in
gosh.
hives.
Oh,
And
wow.
then she was like, I'm having like asthma and I can't breathe over here. And I was like, it's the house. I am telling you. And then by day 4, she's like, I cannot stay here anymore. I don't know how the hell you stayed here for two and a
Wow.
half years.
Yeah,
I was
that's a
like,
long time to
Yeah.
stay
yeah,
in that. Yeah.
yeah,
And it must be like that bad. I mean, you said 2 million spore count for your mom to be there for 4 days and be like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is not
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So did
That's
your
crazy.
kids show any signs of asthma or did the doctors diagnose them with asthma while y'all were living there?
no, not asthma. It was more like coughing, uh like allergy type stuff, not like short of breath. um yeah, I'm trying to think. It was more like neurological stuff. Like my son, this broke my heart. And it's like kind of a weird thing to like really post about because I don't want him like to be looked at that way, but I feel like it's a good like awareness thing. He was I was constantly picking him up from school, crying. I mean, he was in 5th grade and he told me he didn't want to be alive anymore. He wanted to, you know. And I was
Oh,
like,
poor thing.
like that's a weird thing for a 10-year-old to think and feel.
Yeah.
And he would cry in his pillow and he would say, I don't know why I feel this way. I just don't want to be alive anymore. I don't want to be here.
Oh,
And it just crushed my heart because I was like, me too. Like, I feel you, but I had to tell him, like, that's the mold. It makes you feel sometimes like you feel just
hopeless.
crazy and
Yeah.
hopeless. Yeah, and you want to give up.
And
I
gives
was like,
depression, right? I mean, yeah.
absolutely, yeah. And I was like, just hang in there. I mean, I cried so much. I'm sure you've seen my crying videos. I've looked like a crazy person. I just cried every day because it was so awful. Um, Everything was falling apart and I'm holding on for dear life. Like I would pray to God and say, please God, guide me through this. I don't know if I have another day left to live. And I'm not like super religious, but at that house I became like I said, brought to my knees. Like I'm, I'm I need help.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask, so is your son like doing better since being out of there? Like, do you see that his, maybe the depression or the neurological symptoms, like you're seeing a better spirited piece of him come out again? Like it's like he's a new
Yeah.
kid?
Yeah, so I thought he had PANS or PANDAS. I don't know. I never really fully got him tested for it because of money. But he was having a lot of the signs and symptoms of that. I definitely need to work on detoxing him. He's having still some issues like with bowel movements, and I feel like he's not
Yeah.
detoxing naturally regularly.
Mm.
And yes, I want to say he's not depressed. He's not feeling like not being here anymore. He seems a lot happier. He seems like just in good spirits, like there's none of the like chronic illness stuff going on either, like the strep throat or the mouth breathing. Everybody was mouth breathing in the house. Like we couldn't breathe through our nose to get air. What else? I mean, I do feel like he is a unique kid. He's very like smart, like engineered type smart. So I think public school is not the best for him, and he does struggle in that environment. So it's like hard to say when I'm like, yeah, he's doing great, but he doesn't do the best at school. He kind of loses focus there. But he's nowhere like what he was when we were in the house with mold.
Right. And
That's good.
y'all have only been out for 3 months. So I think probably
Yeah.
with time, you're going to see even more, just like you're seeing progress with yourself, you'll be seeing even more progress with
in
him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take on, like going through the lawsuit, the house, moving. I mean, everything we moved on our own because I didn't want to hire movers and just have them bring in moldy stuff into my new house. I wanted to detox my stuff one by one before it was brought inside. And I wanted to say, no, we're not keeping that. That's porous. So it was just, that was very triggering because me and my husband got in some arguments over things. Like, we had to clear out the garage, and I was like, we are not keeping any of this stuff. And he's like, but it's my stuff. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's like contaminated. Like, we can't keep it.
I can
But
relate so much to that, Brittany. My husband felt the same way. So the contractors at our house have a dumpster. And so without my husband knowing, I dumped almost half of our stuff. And they're about to bring back another dumpster, and I'm going to dump probably like a lot more stuff. And I'm not
wow.
telling my husband. We're living at a rental house. So, like, he doesn't know because he's not coming over here.
Oh,
So, when he comes back, he's
yeah.
probably going to ask where a lot of our stuff is. And I'm just going to say it got lost in the flood. It's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
just
he's probably going
slowly.
to listen to this episode
Oh,
later.
Episode, yeah.
I'm going to get in trouble. But I
whoops.
feel better with it getting out of the house. So I can relate.
Honestly, yeah, I just did slowly, like my kids. That was very traumatic because there became a point where my kids had no toys in their room. They just had a bed and that was it. And that was really hard for my daughter to understand because every time something came in, I would tell her it was contaminated. We couldn't keep it. Or like I'd let her keep some things. I'd be like, okay, well, this is staying here. We're not bringing it with us. But I had to keep like the dust and items in the house down to a minimum so that I wasn't like having things for the mold to really attach to and make us sick.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
complete sense.
Well, I'm curious when you say porous stuff. So I get it, like no stuffed animals, maybe the clothing, the towels, maybe the cloth chairs, but like could you keep like plastic or glass stuff, or like
Yeah,
what's the boundary with what you could keep and clean versus what just like the couch needs to go?
So I did not keep towels, blankets, pillows, beds. I got rid of the couches. What else?
I'm about to get rid of our couches, I think. Little does my husband know.
You just
He
can't
might notice
wash
that
those.
one.
Yeah, and I got rid
There's
of all the
just,
pillows too and blankets, so I'm on the same page, Brittany.
yeah, and the stuffed animals, forget it. Like, let's just be real. Let's start
Yep.
over.
I threw all the stuffed
Um,
Yeah.
animals out too.
yeah. I did something that kind of pissed the internet off, I guess, is I kept our clothes. I'm like, okay, I can't go out and buy us all whole new wardrobes
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
a
you
lot.
know?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But if you use
So,
like a special cleaner, like for molds, then I think that that's okay, right? Because you're
Yeah.
clearing the mold out through the washing machine. Though I did see, I follow your videos. You had posted a video of y'all undoing the whole washing machine and like kind of
Oh yeah,
clearing
I saw
out the
that.
mold from there, which I had suggested to my husband, but like we have the front loader and I think you had a top loader and I think it's just different to like pull it apart. It
ooh,
was just it wasn't going to
front,
work for us, but
I would never recommend a front loader. Those are the worst
I
for mold.
know.
Yeah.
I know. We just
The
don't have
mold
anywhere to put a
hotspot.
top loader. I know. But you
That's a
literally
bummer.
didn't you undid the whole
Yeah.
thing and just kind
So
of
that was funny because I was just like in shock how much mold was in the washer. And I actually think I was in a magazine for that video.
oh,
Uh,
Oh wow.
yeah, like New York Post or Daily Post posted that me being like, "There's mold in my washer." But yeah, no, and it was funny because my sister-in-law saw the video on the news, and she's like, "Hey, can y'all come do my washer? Because I think I smell mold." And so we did, and I was trying to prove a point. Like I did a live on that one or something, and I was like, okay, see, there is mold in the washers, like, and you're just washing your clothes with this. It's crazy. So I think I watched a video. I don't remember his name, but he was saying like washers typically will always get mold in them after 2 years. So it's like,
Oh
oh,
wow.
yeah, and taking it apart, I could not do. My husband is super smart, so he did that, and I'm actually wanting to do it again to our washer, our new washer.
your new one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I took it from my mold house, and I mean, granted, I only had it for a couple months in that house because remember when we started over, I got rid of the washer that you saw me take apart. I got rid of it. Um, and we bought new
Oh,
ones. So they were in that house for probably 5 months, but I keep smelling mold in the washer. Like I can smell it. I can't see it,
Oh, I
but
hate that.
I just, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's there. Yeah.
yeah, same. I do too. And I like am constantly like trying to like, well, it's front loader, so like leave the door open, or I use the
Yes.
Microbalance Health, the mold spray products, the mold spray or the laundry additive. But I also bought these other pellet things that you throw in there, and it's supposed to clean and run the cycle. But honestly, like even after a few loads, I still start smelling it again. So I'm like, this is just like a constant trying to make sure this thing
Yeah.
doesn't stink,
You'd
but
be
it always
surprised.
ends up stinking.
Yeah, you'd be surprised if you actually dissected the washer, how bad it can look under the metal basket.
Ugh.
It was pretty black
Yeah,
in
Yeah.
ours. Yeah.
yeah. I guess it's like if you have someone that can do it, it's a good maintenance thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it
Or just buy a super cheap washer every 2 years. I don't know. You know,
or that.
Yeah.
what
I
we're
like
supposed to
that.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's super helpful and makes sense that you didn't get rid of all of your clothing because buying a whole new wardrobe for 4 people is incredibly expensive, let alone one person. So you have to
Well,
do what you have to
yeah.
do.
A lot of my clothes are like free people and super expensive stuff. I'm
Oh
like
yeah.
I was having a hard time parting with that, and I'm being selfish because I'm like, no, you guys can't keep your stuff. I'm keeping mine. No, but I just was very. I think I overdid things, and I kind of like exhausted my body. But when we moved over here, things sat in my yard for a little bit. Like it was a process. Like we'd move stuff, it'd sit in the yard, I'd bake it in the sun, I'd clean it with superstratum.
Yeah.
And then like my clothes, I washed in a water tank outside with superstratum. And I
Oh,
did
wow.
branch basics, and I
Okay.
did borax. I pissed off some people on the internet because I hung my clothes on my fence to dry. People are just so judgy on the internet, but my fence is brand new. My house is new, and we had just stained it and sealed it. So I wasn't worried about mold getting on my clothes from the fence.
Yeah.
But even
And with
after
the
that,
sun shining, the sun was
yeah,
probably baking all of it out.
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm in
Right.
Texas. It was like 120.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
That
there's no way
early.
mold could have gotten on there.
Yeah. But so even after I did that, I'd wash the clothes in the washer and then dry them. And then if I felt crazy enough, I'd repeat that cycle. I don't know how much my water bill was that month. But I still need to bomb my car. I have not done that.
I was actually going to ask you about that because I've seen a lot on cars as well, and I don't know if you experienced that, especially in the Texas heat and humidity, like
Well,
that you feel the mold potentially in
yeah,
the
so
AC in your car, and
well, so I moved a lot of stuff from my old house in this car, and I did kind of use like the Superstratum building cleaner, but I haven't used the deodor balm, which I feel like would be more effective. But my car I just can't keep it clean. I have a blue healer. She sheds and gets dirt everywhere. So I'm like, I don't know if it's that or like right now, y'all should see the inside of my car. I I put a plant in the back seat and I don't know what happened. I rolled the windows down and there's dirt and leaves everywhere right now in my car. It looks crazy. But
No, I
was it
feel you.
a spider plant, Brittany,
I
for
know.
mold?
Yeah, right. That's what I need.
Yeah, I've kind of gone down a crazy rabbit hole. I'm like my friends call me the crazy plant lady, and so I have a
Oh,
bunch of
yeah.
plants in every room to try to like kill off the mold.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. So we ended up losing Brittany due to technical difficulties, but we do want to wrap up this episode and just say it was such a pleasure having Brittany on our podcast today. She is a wealth of knowledge, and she also just has experienced a lot of trauma, as you heard, with her and her family, just going through having a new build that was swimming in mold and mold spores and really affected the health of everyone in her home. And she is lucky to have gotten out, and she's now on the mend, but she is a great resource. If you are looking to follow her journey, she can be found on TikTok at Brittney _ Nicole. And yeah, she shares everything there. And as mentioned, she is a real estate agent in her area. So if you are looking to find a place, she is also someone that you can look to help you in terms of that. So yeah, I guess the main takeaway here is even if you are buying a new home can also be infested with mold, just as a very old home can be as well. And so just make sure you do your due diligence. If you smell something funny, if your family is experiencing symptoms, and everybody's starting to get mystery illnesses and sick, and like she mentioned, cough or strep-like symptoms, and everyone is like always sick, you may want to look into mold. Again, even if you just bought a brand new home that was just built, it does not mean that it was built correctly and or something is wrong like the HVAC system. So anyway, thank y'all, and we look forward to talking to you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with a friend who might enjoy it too. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Slice of Lime to stay connected. And we would love to hear from you. Send us your questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Don't forget to check out the link in our description to see our sponsors and partners. When you use our codes or links, you not only get a discount, but you also help support the podcast. If you'd like to support us directly, you can always buy us a coffee through the link as well. We are so grateful that you're here, and we'll see you in the next episode.